Hey, namaste. Greetings, my friends. I hope you're doing wonderful. I'm doing very nicely. About 2 weeks ago, I moved down south a bit, and so no longer in the Himalayas. Actually, now I'm right near the beach, which is nice. Little monkeys crawling around under the trees. I'm about to go into some months completely off the grid. I'm going to go into an inner time, something that I've been intending, something that I've been looking into, and yet just kind of with synchronicity just came together beginning of this month, and that's why I came down here. So I'm very excited. It's one of those things that, life has been building in that direction. The tools, the experiences, the mindset shifts and whatnot are really putting me in a great place. A couple years ago, I would not have even contemplated this, let alone be excited about it. So I'm stoked. It will definitely be unlike anything that I've ever done before, which is always awesome, and also some trepidation. So I'd love your positivity. I love your support. I love you keep me in your thoughts and prayers during this time. But what I'd love even more is to keep you in my thoughts and prayers, and to come out in a few months and to hear about the incredible autumn that you had, and the fantastic time that you had. This, with the habit change research that I know, they say 66 days we're able to lock in something or shift something to where it's basically an automatic program. And so we've got that opportunity right now. This fall is that opportunity. So I'd love to support you in anything that you've got going on. I encourage you. Over these past couple years, as I've been going into this sort of thing, I've seen in my own life, as I opened my eyes to what actually existed versus pretending, telling myself something else, or just not looking at it, using substances or something else to avoid it. I saw what challenge I had with just huge aversion with committing to anything. Not even like, marriage and raising a family, which I had lots of fear and anxiety about, but even just committing to do something for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like I just had so much built up self-loathing, and I had done so many things just unconsciously in the past, that I'd experienced so many failures that I didn't want to fail again. I didn't want to see myself as a failure. I didn't want others to see me as a failure. And then as I've been deconstructing this and changing the way that I view failure, and changing my relationship with things like discipline, so I no longer feel that it's limiting, but that I see it's a friend that supports me, I've been reaching out to others as I've been taking on these areas of my life, some big and some small, like just changing different diets or just doing different experiments. But I've recognized how important it is to have other people who are going through the process together, so we have a shared experience. So I was reaching out to different people that I knew, people that I didn't know, on Facebook groups or in meetups or whatever. And wow, it totally reaffirmed what my experience had been. This year, I've probably talked with or connected with at least 100 people about doing some sort of thing. Some are big, some are small, you know, to see if people are interested. Like I did the 70 days rising before 5. I did the whole 30 where I cut out the processed foods and things like that, but small things also. And so probably directly interacted with around 100 people, asking, seeing if people are interested, and then definitely shared the message with several hundred more. And of that, off the top of my head, I think we had 3 in different sorts of groups and things. 3 people who actually committed to doing something and stayed with the commitment and took it seriously. And I don't say that with any sort of judgment at all. Like I said, I fully resonate with how scary it is to commit to something, because our society says that failure is so bad, and because in the past we've done it in such an ignorant, unaware sort of way that we basically set ourselves up for failure. So I'm not putting any judgment on that. I'm just saying that that showed me how missing in our culture, in our society, especially, you know, I mean, the people that I interact with, you can assume are legitimate people. And at that level, we're still afraid to commit. We're still afraid to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I have no judgment against myself. I don't view myself as bad. I just recognize and know that I am meant for something more. I'm meant to feel better. I'm meant to be mentally clearer. I'm meant to not be controlled by this substance or this addiction or this way of thinking or this anxiety or this fear. I'm meant to be able to have more enjoyable, fulfilling, love-filled relationships with others and with myself. I'm meant to do these sorts of things. I know it inside, and yet I'm too afraid to take it on. And that, I think that it doesn't need to be that way. I think that with just some shifts, little shifts in our thinking, that thinking, that mindset can shift, and we can really just start going step by step, small bites, small bites, small bites, and then in a year, boom, we look back and life is very different. 2 years, trust me, it's very different. 5 years, I don't know, I'm not at 5 years yet, but I can imagine it's going to be super different in really positive ways. And if we really want things to be different in our world, it's my opinion that we have to do them. If we're not pleased with how our government is, well, maybe we should stop saying, oh, well, I'm going to take the least worst person. Maybe we should just say, no, I have a standard that I'm just not going to accept worst at all. And if I'm going to make my voice heard one way or another. And if we are not happy with how we say that big business or the medical industrial complex of our country grinds people up, well, then maybe we should stop working for them. Or maybe we should stop supporting them. Or maybe we should stop doing things that enable that to continue. And if we're not happy with how we feel, maybe we should stop blaming others, and we should start looking at ourselves with loving and compassion, and recognize that no one else is going to change until I change. And I can't expect anyone else to change if I'm not willing to change. And once I change, it really doesn't matter if other people change, because once I get to the place where I'm not controlled by external people's actions and reactions, I'm now able to send out ripples of positivity and benefit and growth that really assist the world. So I stand with you. I love you. I support you. Reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to share everything that I know for free, of course, about changing habit, about changing life, about having more happiness, more joy, more relationship, more community, releasing unhealthy things, bringing in positive things. I'm happy to share it. I wish you the best. I won't be on the grid when our election comes, so that will be an interesting one to come in later and find out what happened. I wish you the best with that. I wish our country the best. Do I personally think that Donald Trump is fit for office? No, I never thought that he was fit for office. And now we have so many people who have sat in his cabinet, including people that I respect incredibly and have respected for over a decade, like General Mattis, who say unequivocally that he's not fit for office. But am I telling people not to vote for Donald Trump? Not at all. Vote for what you truly believe in. But what I ask you to do, whether you vote Democrat, Republican, or anything else, is not to vote out of fear. If you're voting and you're choosing someone for fear, either fear due to the magical stories that Donald Trump creates, or fear due to, I'm afraid he's going to get 4 more years, so I'm going to vote for the least worst, that, in my opinion, is short-sighted thinking, and that, in my opinion, is why we're at this place right now, where our country is so broken, our culture is so torn apart, our society is fighting each other. We have federal agents on the streets attacking our own people. We're at this place because we continue to take the short-term action, the short-term decision, the fear-based decision. And so, do I think that it will be destructive for our country if we have 4 more years of Donald Trump? Clearly. Unless Jesus comes down and saves him, or he has some total shift in thinking, I think that he's probably going to continue in the same way, and it's going to harm our country as it has so far in every area that I look. But do I think that it's going to be more harmful if people keep voting out of fear, and so they try to vote for someone else just so that we don't get Donald? Yes, I do. I think that we need to vote with positivity. I think we need to vote for people that we, even if we don't think that they can win, we vote and we put our energy behind the people who stand for what we believe. Because maybe not in the next 4 years, maybe Donald gets reelected in the next 4 years, and that happens. Okay, oh well. But if we keep doing that and we keep voting for what we believe, we're going to keep reinforcing and supporting people who act in the way that we desire, which is the way of love, which is the way of rational, conscious thought, which is the way of working together, supporting each other, which is the way of bringing people together. And if we do that, it may take 4 years, it may take 8 years, but at some point the momentum is going to shift, and we're going to create a culture that supports and creates the people that we desire. So that's my thoughts for the old election. And as I said, I wish you the best of luck for everything else. Stay strong. I can only imagine how wild it is in different places, not just in the US, but in other parts of the world. And it can feel very scary. It can feel hopeless. It can feel dark. And I'm not saying that these things don't exist, that we are not being harmed, that we are not dying, that we are not being tortured mentally and physically, that we're not really experiencing hardship. But I am saying that we can change it. And it always starts right here. I love you. I wish you well. Namaste.